we are starting with the Java lab. So what you'll be learning in the Java at the end of this course, so you'll be able to demonstrate the fundamental data types Java programming by writing executable and interpretable programs, and you'll be able to illustrate the object excuse me object oriented programming. Give me 1 minute. Okay, someone has joined. Okay, so illustrates the object-oriented principle with the help of Java program, and you'll be able to use reuse and efficient application using inheritance, multiple inheritance, multi-threading. You'll be seeing in the Java. Then along with that, you'll be seeing client-server programming in the networking. Along with that, you'll be seeing about interface, inner class, and input-output stream. This is the this is at the end of your thing you'll be able to do. Okay, we start with first program. Programs, what are the programs you have in your syllabus? First program, write a program to demonstrate constructor overloading. Write a Java program to demonstrate constructor overloading and method overloading. So what do we mean by constructor overloading and method overloading? Constructor means it's similar, it is initialized. If you want any variables to be initialized, so we use a separate separate method that is same, it's the same name as your class. So then that is what is called as a constructor overloading. So you want to overload. Overloading means already some values are there, you want to replace them. So then we call it as a overloading. So constructor overloading and method overloading we are seeing in the first program. And in the second program, a Java program to implement inner class and demonstrates its access protection. So inner class is class within one more class, is a inner class. So like what you have seen, if within if is called as a nested if. Same way here, write a Java program to implement inner class and demonstrates its access protection. So you protect public, private, those things. We see how we do it in the inner class. In the third program, write a Java program for handling the strings. What we do here is we use a built-in function and we have to perform some operations. So what are those operations? We need to know the capacity of a string buffer. What is the size of your buffer object? That we have to find out. That is a first A. And second one, reverse the string. So suppose whatever you have given, you want to reverse it, then we use a built-in function to reverse the string. Along with that, convert the resultant string in uppercase. You convert first you convert that to a reverse of a string, then after converting you have to convert that to a uppercase. So that is what three 3B is we have to do. And last one, 3C, in that whatever you get in the console, whatever we enter in the text input, that will be resultant. You have to append it. Suppose if you have allo already, then if I enter in the keyboard world, uh, uh, behind allo it should be world. So that is what appending. Next one is next program, fourth program, inheritance. What is inheritance? Just we have yesterday started deriving from a base class to a derived class is inheritance. So in this fourth program, we are checking out with a multiple inheritance using the interface, because in Java, multiple inheritance is not allowed. Instead of multiple inheritance, we are using something called as an interface. So what is this interface? Interface is similar like class, but there is no implementation done in the interface. Instead in interface we have all the variables declared as abstract. Abstract means it's the end. And the same way methods also declared as abstract. So using that interface, we have to calculate the area of a rectangle and as well as a triangle. And the fifth program, so where we are just calculating a class called account that creates account with rupees 500 minimum balance, and a deposit one more method to deposit amount withdrawal method with the withdraw amount, and also throw less balance exception if an account holder tries to withdraw money which makes the balance becomes less than rupees 500. That is what A will be doing. We are just checking out what is the minimum balance. And the class called less balance exception, which returns a statement that says withdraw amount is not valid. A class with create two accounts, both account for deposit money and one account tries to withdraw more money, which generates less balance exception, taking appropriate action for the same. So that we are doing it in the fifth program. And in the sixth program, synchronization. So what do we mean by synchronization? So suppose if I now same online we are handling classes. So if I don't on here audio, and if I start saying, you people may not listen, means what? There is a synchronization between the audio and the video. So that's how here the synchronized thread is used to demonstrate the producer and consumer concept. And in the seventh program, you would have studied in your data structure queues. Queues means what? First come, first serve. Who comes first, it will be served first. So that we have to using user exception handling. So what do we mean by exception handling is, so in case if you feel that in some statements there may be error, then we use a try and catch thing. Sai Kumar, please, that it's already 2:10, Sai Kumar. So if you people keep coming, I have to keep admitting you people. The same thing I told even in the class also. Yes, please join in time. Even Pavan, the same thing. Even morning also I observed the same, and now also. Please. Okay, so that's about okay, exception handling. Exception handling is we use a try catch block to handle the exception. So in the same way, first one we have to create a package called as a shape. In that package, using that package, we have to create a square, triangle, and a circle. Then import and compile these classes in one program. So that's what about packages and queues we are implementing and handling exception handling. Then in the eighth program, what we are doing is we are using the enumerations day of the week with the 7 values, Sunday through Saturday. Add a method is working day of or to a day of week class, and we see how these values, whether it will return true if it is Monday through Friday, or days of the week, whether it is a Sunday. So that this way we check and that is done in the using the enumeration in the 8th program. And in the 9th program, what we are doing, you would have seen in your data structure same way stack. Stack is what? The element which comes at the last will be the one which will be going out first. So that's how here, using the interface class for a stack operation we are doing. So then a class for a stack interface fixed length stack. So I'll fix the stack. I'll say that my stack size is 10. That is what I have to show in the B. And dynamic length stack. So you would have seen in your C language, malloc, calloc. So what we are doing in malloc and calloc, I can allocate memory at runtime. So the same way here also we have to allocate or dynamically change the length of the stack. And the last one, both above stack through interface reference and does the stack. And the last one demonstrate operation that demonstrate the runtime binding. We'll see each one I'll explain in depth. So write a program which uses file input stream and file output stream. So what we are doing here in the 10th program is we are using the files. So we take some text file and do some operation and display it into the output file. We'll see them how we do it. And write a Java program to demonstrate a linked list. So what do we mean by linked list? You'll be having a node, each node. So in that node, you'll be having a header as well as data. And you may have one more node. So like this, you can have any number of nodes. So you keep attaching the nodes at the end. So that is what is called as a linked list. And here they didn't specify whether it is a single linked list, double linked list. We just take it as just a linked list. So linked list, collection of nodes is called as a linked list. So this is about your syllabus, what you'll be studying for your semester. You'll be having 11 programs for your Java lab. Okay, so today we start. First, we start with the first program, constructor overloading and method overloading. Anybody downloaded JDK? Anybody have Java compiler in your laptops? Anybody have?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. If you have, fine. How did you have in your laptop? Whether you doing JDK, using JDK, Linux? Okay. How about others?
JDK, ma'am.
In Windows, you're doing, right?
Yeah.
In Windows. Okay. So there are different ways of executing the programs. It's left to you how you do. One way I just explained you can open a notepad, type your program, and if you have installed JDK, go for a command prompt, execute your program using a Java C, your file name .java C. The commands you have to remember if you are doing in a ordinary command prompt. The same thing once we come back to the offline, I'll just explain you once again in the lab. But right now I am using some other way. I'll just explain you how we do. So in command prompt, what you have to do, type your in a notepad, save somewhere, remember the path, set that path with the JDK, then say command prompt Java C file name .java. If you don't have any errors in your program, you'll get a next prompt. Then to run the program, Java file name. Then you'll get the output. So this is how you have to execute a program. So right now, I'll just show you 3 methods. One is using an online method. So just now, I've just executed and kept ready for you people. So this is one online compiler. People, if you don't have, if you feel that how to execute, either one option right now just for time being, but this online will not be working out for your final exam. This is only just for your practice, because once you do your lab exams, they will not allow, internet will be off in your lab exam, wherever the lab exams are going on, the internet will be not available. So in that case, you cannot use online. So then you have to go for a desktop or a standalone system execution. So right now, let me execute and show you. This is one method. It's an online tool which is available. This is a coding. One more. This is W3 school, where Even this also gives us, if you have internet, sufficient internet packet pack, then you can go with this, any of this. So so what this class, first one, what the program says to us, we have to show how the Java program to demonstrate constructor overloading and a method overloading. That's what your first program says to you. Okay, so now we start with first one. So class, the program name and your class name always should be same. So now what I have to save, I have to save my program. If you're saving this in your laptops, then you have to save it as a sample. And I told you, even in the theory classes, Java is a case sensitive. Case sensitive means, you can see here S is capital. So when you're saving your program, also it should be same. So the same name should be class and your file name should be same. That's what a Java says to you. Okay, class sample. So that sample, so what is the sample here? I'm using the same class name here. So then we are calling it as a constructor. So what we are doing, we are calling this class here, and this is called as a constructor. And here this is in this constructor, we are not passing any parameters. It's just a simple constructor where we are just displaying a printf. So that is constructor invoked. So system.out.println, what is the system? System is a class, out is object, println is a method. Whatever is there in this println, it will be displayed. So that's what this is a first constructor in the class sample. And in this constructor, there is no parameters. Okay, one more constructor we have taken. So you can see here, this is one more constructor, whereas in this constructor, we are passing one parameter with the name I, with the data type integer. So that's what here you can see, sample int data type. What data type it is an integer, name of the variable I. So just displaying it. Before I display, what we are doing, we are pre-incrementing. I think you'll be knowing pre-increment and post-increment. Pre-increment means before displaying, it should increment whatever the value of I is there, then display. So that is system.out.println, the value of I is. So that's what here. So generally in Java, other languages we were using comma, here we are using a plus. So within this bracket, you have plus plus I. So whatever value, suppose if I say I value is, we have just taken already. So the I value, if I say 10, so it should display as 11 because it should be pre-incremented. Yes, so that's what here plus plus I says to us. Okay, so these two are the constructors. So what we are doing, these two are constructor. One is with a without parameter passing. This is with parameter passing. But what parameter we are passing? One variable of type integer we are passing and displaying pre-increment value of I. Yes, that's what this constructor, second constructor is doing. Okay, next what we are doing, we are taking one more function or a method, and we are calling that function as a func, some name, so function. And how this function is, this function we are saying it should be public, means it should be accessible to anybody within this class, within this program. So public, and void, it is not returning anything. So that's what void. And the name of the method is a function. Okay, so what this function is doing, it is also just displaying something. It is displaying as function invoked. So again, system.out.println, system is what? Class, out is what? Object, println is what? Method. So whatever is there within this will be displayed on your output screen. That is function invoked. Okay, so next, method overloading. These two are constructor overloadings. To overload, we are using these two. So here again, these two functions are used for method overloading. So the same method without parameter, the same method with parameter. So function is again same. So here in this function, what we are doing is system.out.ln post increment. What is post increment? Post means whatever value I have, in increment, first display, then increment. So that's what here the post increment generally will be doing. So then display j, then j is equal to j plus 1, just increment a j value, then again print a j value. This is about, these two are used for constructors. Constructor overloading purpose, we are using these two functions. These two functions are used to show method overloading. That's what the program says to us. What the program says to us? The program says write a Java program to demonstrate constructor overloading and method overloading. So for constructor overloading, we have used two functions, and for method overloading, we have used two functions. So that's what here. Sample is our class name. Sample without parameter, sample with parameter. So we are using these two. In the same way, function, this is the function, and this is a function. This is a one more function. Okay. So this is about just two constructors, two methods. Two constructors, one without parameter, one with parameter. Two methods, one with parameter, one without parameter. Okay, this, now how many functions we have used overall in this? 4. 2 are constructors, 2 are methods. That's what we have seen. Okay, now come back to the main method. So main function we have to do. So then that's what I have explained. Public static void main for all your Java program. This line is compulsory. Okay, so then string arguments, if you want to pass at the runtime any variable, then we may use this. So that's what it is called as a command line argument. If you want to pass, then we can pass here. But again, command line arguments should be how? It should be in a form of string. So that's the reason it is a string. So whenever you're typing, again, you should remember Java is case sensitive. So here S should be always capital. Okay, so public access specifier, it is anyone can access. Static, so the memory allocation for the object is done. Avoid, it is not returning anything. Main, it is a starting of the execution of your program. Then string, so if you want to pass any arguments, you can pass here. Okay, so now come back, sample S. So what we have done, we are creating objects for first constructor, that is S. Sample, we are calling this sample without any parameters. So and that we are calling the object as S. And we are calling one more method, sample, and passing for that S10, and that we are calling it as S1. So then S dot function, again we are calling a method S dot function, and we are calling S1, that is second method, and passing a value 20. So either you can directly call, so whenever you want to create an object, you should create it by using a new. So this is a syntax for creating an object. So this is for one object, this is for another object. Okay, so now the execution starts from here. It will come to this one, that is sample. It will go to sample here. What it is? Constructor invoked. So that's what here you can see in the output window. Constructor invoked. This will be displayed. Okay, so then what? So then again we are calling one more function. So where, what is the value here? What is the value we are passing? What's the value we are passing?
10.
We are passing 10, but why the output is getting 11?
We have pre-incremented already.
Yes. So this is what here we are passing for I10. This is pre-incremented. So 11 is your display. It will be displaying the value as 11. So this is done. So next we are calling the next function, that is fun. So what is there in function? We are just displaying this. So function invoked. So that's what here you can see, function invoked. This line will be displayed. Okay, next one, we are calling this. So this value, that is j value, what did we pass? 20. Yes. So it is post increment. First it has to display, then it should increment. So first it is displaying 20. So when it is displaying 20, after this line is executed, what will be the value of j after display?
21.
Yes. So 21. So then j value will be 21. 21 plus 1 is what? This line will be executed. So what will be the value? 21 plus 1 is what? What is
22.
20? So that's the reason here this j value will be 22. So that's what here in this line you can see 22 is displayed. So this is your first program. Any doubts you can ask me. Any doubts? Any doubt?
I mean, printing statement system that
Hmm.
out dot printing. Why you are
Uh-huh.
using plus sign before the
That is
bracket?
a syntax for Java. So it is not either you can use comma plus plus also. So generally we use plus. Generally we use plus. It is a syntax. Syntax, Raman. Okay. So this is one way. So, but I have installed Visual Studio. Why I have installed Visual Studio? Let me bring to you. Visual Studio is very good thing where you can execute any program. So I'll just show you. I'll start with the beginning. I'll close it. I have installed Visual Studio in my laptop because it is convenient for me to execute any program. So the same program I can execute in C, I can execute in C++, I can execute in anything. So now what I am doing, I'll just go file new. Yes, so you can see here, these are the files opened already, titled one. So if I click on this, so you can see what are the programs I can execute. I can execute C, I can execute C# programs also, I can execute C++ also, I can execute CSS also. So like this, I can execute any programs. That's the reason I have just means I have installed a Visual Studio. So I want now Java. So I want Java programs here. So I'll just for execution, I'm just showing you how my programs are working in the Visual Studio. I'm just uh, I have pasted the program here, the same first program. So you can see here, this is a untitled. Yes. So for this, it is very easy for us to execute our programs here. So I'm just running the start debugging. I have to save my program. So what I have to save? I have to save it as a, what I have to save? I have to save it as a simple.java. Okay. So then start debugging. Wait a minute, because the debugging is going on. Okay. So now I will start run start debugging. So it is done now. So terminal it is there. So you can see here, this is what the output. Constructor invoked, the value of I is 11. Function invoked, the value of j is 20. The value of j is 22. So I am preferring Visual Studio. I have because everything at one stretch, I can execute any programs. It is not only Java, I can execute C, C++, C#, any program I can execute. That's what I have just installed a Visual Studio. It's left to you. I'm not restricting you people to be like you execute either online, or some some people told Linux, some people told ordinary command prompt. Anything is okay. But at the exam point of view, you have to remember how you are, because you're executing your programs in the lab. So when you're executing in the lab, you have to execute whatever is available in the lab. Right now, if it is online, you just keep practicing your programs either in whichever fashion you want. But once we come back to the lab, I'll show you how to execute the lab in the lab. Okay, any doubts? Any doubts in the first program? Any doubts, you can ask me, or else we'll take attendance and I'll close for today's session. Today's date is 18/5. Anaga, answer your attendance. Anaga is present.
Yes, ma'am.
Abhilash,
Yes, ma'am.
Akhil,
Yes, ma'am.
Akruti,
Yes, ma'am.
Akash,
Makut.
Akrut,
Present. Yes, ma'am.
Anusha,
Yes, ma'am.
Arvind, Arifullah,
Yes, ma'am.
Beneka,
Present, ma'am.
Panu Prakash,
Yes, ma'am.
Bhargav,
Yes, ma'am.
how should I spell this name? I really don't know.
Ma'am, Rahamtullah present, ma'am.
Rahamtullah.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Rahamtullah. Okay. Chaitra,
Present, ma'am.
Chandana,
Present, ma'am.
Charan,
Yes, ma'am.
Darshan,
Present, ma'am.
Diksha,
Yes, ma'am.
Dakshayani,
Present, ma'am.
Kishan,
Present, ma'am.
Harshit, Hemalata,
Yes, ma'am.
Kuma,
Present, ma'am. Present, ma'am.
Present, ma'am.
Divya,
Yes, ma'am.
Kaushik,
Yes, ma'am.
Present, ma'am.
Lakshmi,
Ma'am, she has put in chat box.
yeah, Lavanya,
Present, ma'am.
Manish,
Present, ma'am.
Manoj, Mohit,
Yes, ma'am.
Naval,
Present, ma'am.
Navya,
Present, ma'am.
Nikhil,
Present, ma'am.
Panindra,
Present, ma'am.
Pavan, Pooja,
Pawan present, ma'am.
yeah, Mark, Pooja,
Present, ma'am.
Purnima,
Present, ma'am.
Raman, Rashmi,
Present, ma'am.
Rupak,
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, Pawan present, ma'am.
marked Pavan, Sai Kumar,
Present, ma'am.
Samir,
Present, ma'am.
Santosh, Mohit present, marked Manoj is not,
Excuse me, ma'am. Raman present, ma'am.
yeah, Raman
Voice
marked,
was not coming.
yeah, Raman marked,
Okay, thank you.
Santosh, Sadab,
Present, ma'am.
Sharan,
Present, ma'am.
Shashank,
Present, ma'am. Present, ma'am.
Sheetal,
Present, ma'am.
Shivani,
Present, ma'am.
Soumya,
Present, ma'am.
Spurti, Srinivas,
Shri Vishnu. Present, ma'am.
sorry, Sri Vishnu,
Present, ma'am.
Sugandhini,
Present, ma'am.
Sushma,
Present, ma'am.
Sushmita, Sushmita BS, Susmita U,
Present, ma'am.
Tirtha,
Present, ma'am.
Trupti,
Present, ma'am.
Varsha,
Present, ma'am.
Reena,
Present, ma'am.
okay.
Ma'am, Sushmita B.S. Present, ma'am.
Sushmita B is present. Okay. Anybody else? Okay. So we'll stop here. Manoj is present. So I'll stop here. You practice the first program.